Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We're getting a little bit of a late start to this morning, but better late than never. So I got a few things that I want to do out here today. I've actually got my tomato plants and zucchini out here, hardening them off a little bit more this morning. I talked a little bit about hardening off plants on the last video. Hardening is just getting the plants used to being outdoors, basically. So I have my onion starts that we received from Dixondale Farms. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to their website down below. I'm not affiliated or partnered with them in any way. That just happens to be where I get my onion starts. I'd also mentioned I wanted to go ahead and give potatoes a try. I actually don't have any seed potatoes right now, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get some of those this morning. So let's go ahead and actually get that taken care of right now.
All right, so it's considerably later in the afternoon, but we have made it back from the store, picked up a few things that we're going to work on. One thing that I had been looking for and hadn't really had any luck finding, I thought I was going to have to order, was habanero seeds. So I've got jalapenos that I've started. I've got poblanos, serranos, even some sweet peppers. But I couldn't find any habaneros. It seems like they were always sold out, not just with the seeds, but the plant starts also. So I got lucky and found a couple different types. These are from Fairy Morse, and so are these. It's just called a So Easy. I don't know what the deal is with that. These are supposed to be container variety. So I'll get these started this afternoon. So I'll get some cells of those. We're also going to do some lavender. The main reason we're doing lavender is each time we go to the store, regardless of where it's at, if they have lavender growing, that's where all the bees kind of congregate. Even with all the other flowers and all the other plants, they seem to really like the lavender. So we're going to grow some lavender, see if we can't get some bees to come in. We had some that were actually living, let's wait for this motorcycle to go by because he's going to rev it up, I know it. There it is. There it is. All right, so we had some bees that were actually living in one side of one of the trees up front, quite a few of them actually. And they would make their way into the backyard here, which was helpful. So we figured, you know what, let's get some lavender going. They seem to like it, and see what happens. The other one that I went ahead and picked up that I'm going to start, so I've got zucchini, a couple of zucchini plants that are started. It's actually about time to get them transplanted. They've been part of the tomatoes and such that I've been hardening off. So hopefully I'll have them in containers soon. And then I went ahead and got some just regular early prolific straight neck squash. These have got 50 days to harvest, so I should have those in plenty of time. And then, of course, what I actually went to the store for, which was potatoes. So we got 3 different types here. I've got some Adirondack blue. We got some red Norland potatoes. This has 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5 seed potatoes in it. And then we just got some russets here. Yukon Gold, actually, not russets. These are Yukon Golds. I got 1, 2, same thing, 5 in these. The Adirondack Blue, 4 of these. Now, normally, from what I'd seen, so you can either plant these whole. You just try to, a lot of these will have some kind of growth that's coming up out of the eye, and that, of course, is what's going to face up, outward. Some people, what they'll do is you can actually take and kind of quarter up or more your potato, so you slice it. You just make sure to keep the eye intact, and of course, again, that goes up. Now, from what I understand, is if you're cutting them, you do need to leave them out for a couple days to let that cut kind of callus over. That way it helps prevent the start or the seed from rotting. I've never done potatoes, so I don't know all the ins and outs as far as that goes. That's just my understanding. The other option, of course, is just to put them in whole. Now, we're restricted on time. Throughout the week, we really don't have a whole lot of time to mess with because we're both working 2 jobs. Usually we have like maybe an hour in between one job to the next. And by the time we get home in the evening, it's usually after 11 o'clock at night. And then we're back up again between 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of time during the week. And so if, today's Sunday, so if I was to cut these up, it would probably be Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, who knows, maybe even later. I'm not sure how long it would take to kind of callus over before we'd even be able to plant them though. And because I don't have a whole lot of time to work it with, I'm just going to go ahead and plant these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plant these whole. We have both 5 and 10 gallon grow bags. Again, if you're interested in the grow bags that I use, I will have a link down in the description below to the Amazon site where you can find them. They go from 1 gallon up to 30 gallons. It's 50 Sun. Anyway, 5 gallon, 10 gallon grow bags. I think what I'm going to do is the Adirondack Blue, I'm going to do in a 5 gallon grow bag. The Red New Orleans and the Yukon Golds I'm actually going to do in 10 gallon bags. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some soil up over here. We'll put down just like a small layer in the bag. We'll get these buried, these seed potatoes. And then what we're going to do from there is, of course, the plants will come up through the soil. They'll kind of leaf out and everything. And then we'll bury those again. And you just kind of keep burying them in layers. Everything I've seen, that's what you do. So that's what we're going to try to do and see how well it turns out. Again, I've never grown potatoes before, ever. So this will be a first for us. Now, the other thing that we're going to be doing today is planting our onion starts. We got our onion starts from Dixondale Farms again. That's where I order my onion starts from. And so far they've been really good. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to grow them in the same kind of 100 gallon grow bag again. Now this one still has a zucchini plant that's still going. I actually have 2 fruit on it right now and the potential for a third because I got both a female and a male flower on this. And so because it's still fruiting, it's the only one that survived this winter. I'm going to go ahead and let it go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to amend the bag and top it off with soil and everything all around that plant. I'll plant the onions throughout the rest of the bag, and that should be fine. Now I'm still not sure about this bag over here. This one, half of it we did onions from seed to see how they would do. And then we planted some garlic as well that we had gotten from the store. So far, I've seen nothing. Now I know from what I've read, it can take a while. So hopefully that's all it is it's just taking time. And we'll see something eventually out of these. If not, unfortunately, that's a grow space that is probably being wasted. But for the time being, I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to do the zucchini and the squash in these bags again. I did them last time, and they grew okay. Part of the issue was, once again, it was just I did them too late. That's all there is to it. I'm going to stick with the 30 gallon bags, like these plants down here. That's what my first round of growing zucchini was done in, and it seemed to do just fine. And so I'm just going to keep on with that. Other than that, if we have enough time, we're also going to amend this bed back here against the wall. And that's where we're going to be doing our plants, like the lavender. Wanted to have a bunch of lavender in there. We're probably going to plant the gladiola bulbs in there and turn that into kind of a flower garden and see if we can't get some more pollinators back here. So with that being said, it's a little overcast today, so let's get to mixing some soil. All right, so we got the onions in here, got it watered down really good. So we decided to not mulch it today. We'll probably mulch it in another day or two, just to make sure everything sets properly, and see what happens. So that'll be a little later in the week. Let's get some bags ready for the potatoes. All right, so again, the bag I just filled up is the 5-gallon Vivo Sun bag. As you can see, these are considerably smaller than those 30-gallon ones that I generally work with. So we're going to do the Adirondack Blue in this one. All right, so this is what the seed potato looks like right here. And of course, obviously you see the large growth right here. So since we are just planting the entire thing, what I'm going to do is make sure that this portion is planted up towards the top of the grow bag here. And I will be doing that with all of them. So I'm just going to kind of space it out in the bag down here, cover it up, cover the whole thing up, and see if we can get some potatoes. All right, so now it's completely covered. I'm gonna water this down pretty well, and we'll sit and wait. We're gonna do the exact same thing to the other 2 potato seeds, which is the Red Norland and the Yukon Yellow. Now with some of these, the sprouts are coming up through the bag itself. All I'm doing is kind of pulling on it just enough to kind of widen the holes to get these out. That's really it.
All right, we got potatoes planted. So, like I said before, never done this one before at all. Been wanting to, so we'll see how this turns out. Depending on how many potatoes we get out of these, next time we decide to do these, we might actually step it up to the larger bags. Like I said, I've got a 5-gallon bag for the Adirondack Blue, and then 10-gallon bags for the other two. So we'll see how that goes. We still got a bunch of soil left over from mixing up, so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and put that into the flower bed and maybe get some of the bulbs planted. Let's get after it. So we've started with a wildflower mix that we've done in the corners here. We'll see how that goes. Now all these flowers, these bulbs, grow up to different heights. So these are gladiolas, black beauties. It's a full to partial shade, but they grow 50 to 60 inches high, and they need to be planted 4 to 6 inches deep, with 4 to 6 inches in between the bulbs. So these ones are going to go into the back because the rest of these, like the lilies, they get 36 to 48 inches. I think, well, we got a couple of different kinds of gladiolas. So I think the gladiolas go in the back, lilies will go in the front. Let's get to it. All right, so we have potatoes that we have started. We have onions that we have started. We have gladiolas and lilies that we have started. I'd say it's been a pretty productive day. So with the potatoes, my understanding is, again, we planted them pretty shallow. The plants will come up, they'll leaf, you'll see plants just like any other plant. As the roots grow and it grows the plant, it comes up through the soil. Potatoes do the same thing. The difference though is as those plants come up, you keep burying them. So while these bags are not very full at the moment, over time, layer by layer, they will fill up until it's time to harvest. And with them being in containers like this, we'll be able to just basically dump these out into one of our totes that we use out here and sift through and gather up all the potatoes, theoretically. With that being said, I think that's going to do it for us. It's time to get started on some dinner. So thank you for joining us today and following along and watching us continue to grow and learn how to do things and learn how to garden and work towards our homesteading goals. Thank you so much for that. Your support has been amazing. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions, any comments, anything you'd like to see us try out back here, drop a comment down below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.